What if there was another way to actually live, a way that you can actually start to be in charge of your own healing, a way to get out of this survival mode and into creative mode? Well, it's my job as your host of the Healing Tree Hub to introduce you to some modalities that might actually make all the difference and to give you your power back. My name is Sarah, and I have the pleasure of meeting you every week to discuss new modalities and new topics that are really making a difference out there. So buckle up and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Healing Tree Hub. I have a wonderful guest today, Alisha Lynch. Welcome. I have been so excited to have you on board, and I really can't wait to introduce you to my beautiful listeners. A lot of my clients love your products already, but I can't wait to get your story and your products out there because they're doing some pretty incredible things. So welcome.
Thanks, Sarah. It's fun. I haven't done a podcast interview for a while, so you've gotten me back out of my my hiatus of podcast interviews. So yay, good to be here.
And I do appreciate, I know that you're a very, very busy woman. I see that you're running around
Oh,
doing all the things, and
aren't we all though, Sarah? Honestly, I don't know of a woman that's not busy.
hence why we need your products. Alisha, I invited you on this podcast. I have a select amount of people that I've been inviting lately that really spark my interest and I'm really inspired by. And you inspired me because I can see that you're a really down to earth, incredible person that is doing some really big things up there in Brisbane. I just couldn't wait to find out what your story was because I just have this inkling it's going to be an interesting one. So,
Yeah,
can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, and how you got there? That's a pretty big question, but let's break it down.
yeah. Look, I can do that, no worries. So yes, I'm Alicia, but most commonly known as Naughty Naturopath Mum on the interwebs. That is the name of a company that is now 10 years old. We turned 10 in September last month. So, um, yeah, the naughty is because, I'm not the health conscious person that, everyone thinks a naturopath should be. I, of course, love health and love natural health and getting the body back into balance in the natural ways. But I also believe in a balanced life. And whether that's naughty or not, I don't know. If the name naughty is kind of a strange one, because I don't think it's naughty to have your life in balance, but it's just to symbolize having, all elements in your life, whether that's chocolate, wine, having a good time, it all makes up our health, our emotional health journey. So naughties explain the naturopath. Well, yes, I became a naturopath in 2003. I started my studies in naturopathy in 1997. So I've been in the game for quite some time. I no longer practice because of the company now. But yes, I sure do for my friends and family. And the mum bit, I'm sure that's pretty explainable. My kids are now 12 and 13. So, yeah, that gives you an inkling of why the business was started 10 years ago. I had kids and wanted to do something outside of clinical practice. And I started making flower essence remedies. So that's primarily what Naughty Naturopath is. It's a flower essence company. We sell flower essences in blend and mist form. And for those of you who don't know what flower essences are, they're energetic remedies taken orally under the tongue or in the mouth or even in your water bottle or glass of water. And they add different vibrations to the body to help shift emotions and help bring us more into balance. So that's the what. I guess the second part of your question was how did it all happen? Well, I it is a good story. I went on this big walk in Spain for my 30th birthday. I did the Camino, which is a 1,000-kilometer walk from, well, you start in France and you end up on the other side of Spain. And that was a good 5 weeks of walking and thinking and really getting to know myself better than I ever had before. And I realized, I'd left my husband at home, looking after we only had fish at the time, and even he couldn't even look after those. Those fish died, by the way. But at the time, this is pre-kids, pre-pets. We had 2 fish that are dead. But I had my husband at home waiting, and my clinic was shut, and I didn't know I was going to come back and say, I want to finish work. I want to go travel. I want to have some adventures before kids come. So my husband was a bit like, oh, okay, but lucky for me, he's very adventurous, Sagittarian that likes to go, okay, what's next? So we both quit our jobs. I had to, shut down my practice and pass along my clients to other naturopaths, and we just decided to go around Australia. So we sold everything we had, got the camper van, and off we went. And the only thing I took from my clinic was my flower essences kit, because I kind of thought, oh, well, that's something I could maybe make up and sell at markets one day. I don't know. Mind you, they were just in the van for 18 months before I even got them out, because I was too busy having fun exploring Australia. But we left from Brisbane and we ended up in Western Australia. And that was where we decided to stay longer than we anticipated. We bought a house, we had a baby, and the flower essences kit finally got dusted off out of that camper van, which we had to sell because a baby seat wouldn't really go in the front of a camper van. And yeah, the flower essences came out. I got reacquainted. I started making blends up for myself because in pregnancy, there's so many supplements you can't be on. So I went off a lot, but given that flower essences were fine to still take, I started helping myself again with those. And then, of course, when I became a mum, it was just a lot of emotions and overwhelming feelings that were always popping up, new feelings and emotions I'd never felt before. So again, turned to the flower essences. And I was taking one of my blends in my mother's group, and a mum turned to me and said, what are you taking there? And I kind of explained, oh, look, these are energetic remedies that I make them up myself. I'm a naturopath, and they just help me feel calmer and more in balance. And she asked if she could have a bottle. So I made her a bottle up and ended up making the whole mother's group up a bottle as a gift for my next visit. And then that was the catalyst of almost half the town getting on what is now known as Mama Magic, which was my very first blend that I kind of made en masse rather than it be like a personal blend. Because, traditionally in clinic, you would make up a flower essence blend based on the person sitting in front of you. I'd be jotting down notes as they talked throughout their consultation, and all my clients would leave with herbs and supplements, but always a bottle of a personal remedy, because you can't treat the physical body without treating the emotions. It's just, I've never thought that you can do one without the other. So this Mama Magic blend was the first one I'd sort of made, for based on, I guess, a stage in life, being a mum. And everyone couldn't believe how much better they were going on it. And so that's kind of how it started. I was just making them for free and giving them away for quite a while, actually, until someone said, hey, maybe you should sell these. And here we are 10 years later.
Oh, I love your story. It's incredible. And I love that you mentioned Mama Magic, and I didn't know that was the first one in your range. That's really
Very
cool.
first, yes, yeah. And I don't think it had such a catchy name back then. It was just, here, quick, take this, you'll feel better bottles. So many out there. I'm inspired every day by colleagues and women forming all sorts of groups and co-working spaces and companies and businesses, and just, really creating a life for themselves where they, I'm not going to say they've got their, parenting and work life balanced, because that's a myth. No one will ever have that. run from anyone who says they've got it all figured out that way. But the flexibility women are creating for themselves, it's such a help in these kind of entrepreneurial roles, because yes, you can, as hard as it is and as unbalanced as it is, there is still that flexibility of being able to be there for the kids if needed a bit more than having to go into the office in the 9 to 5 capacity.
Absolutely. Now, another thing that you said that sort of excited me a little bit was when you mentioned working with emotions to help heal the body physically. I
Mm,
think that's what energy healing and energy medicine is all about. And I just wanted to dive a little bit more into that because that may be a new concept to a lot of people, a lot of listeners. So,
yes.
how do you think emotions affect the physical body? And how does energy medicine and energy products like yours actually
Mhm.
help?
Yeah, well, it's a funny science, I'm using inverted commas with my fingers to chat about, because a lot of people, it's not as quantifiable as, say, putting a herb or a vitamin supplement in the body and going, okay, we're correcting this physical issue. What emotional and energetic medicines and remedies and treatments do is put the body more in a self-healing mode, because the body is always trying to get itself into balance. It's never, oh, this is sore, I'm going to leave it there. No, the body is designed to always be repairing, always helping itself. But there are a lot of roadblocks that, we give our body, whether that could be stressful thoughts inflaming us, or, our diets or environment, or the toxicity of some really bad emotional states. I'm sure everyone knows that when they're down or flat or depressed and anxious, nothing, there's a lot of physical stuff that goes wrong because everything is connected. We are an energetic being. We're not just, skin and bone and blood. We're full of moving energy streams. Some people who have the Chinese medicine background or do acupuncture will know that as qi, and that can be, manipulated through acupuncture needles, because we're diverting that energy. That's basically what we're playing around with energy, with needles. Um, but things like even yoga and walking and in nature, that's all affecting the energy of our body. We've got energy meridians within the body and energy layers around our body. So there are things that can be affected. Well, sorry, when I say things affect our body from the outside as well as internally. So yeah, my understanding of our health is that we need to be on top of how our emotions and energy is moving in our body, not just our physical symptoms, because you correct the energy, you generally will create a domino effect into the physical body. So yeah, you're just removing obstacles and helping the body heal. And when people get a bit kind of confused about emotion and energy, it is the same thing. Um, Emotion is literally energy in motion. So when we're feeling a surge of anger or a frustration, or tears come because we're sad, it's literally energy that we're storing in our body moving through us. So and I think the problem is a lot of people get frightened by emotion, because unfortunately, whether it's society or feeling vulnerable, being so uncomfortable, we think, oh, well, we'll just shut those emotions down, or we don't have time to feel that, because that's another reason we get too busy to process our emotions. So a lot gets stuck, and that does throw the body out of whack and out of balance. And that's where the emotional and energetic treatments and remedies come into play.
Oh, I love how you explained that. That was absolutely beautiful. And it was a really important point that you brought up about the suppression of
Mm.
emotions and people in our society, in our time of, oh, I think actually it's probably getting a little bit better than it was back in the day.
Oh,
But
definitely.
I heard my little boy, and he's grown up with an energy healer mum, so I was
Mm.
surprised to hear this, but because of his peers and the school life, he turned around the other day and he started to cry. And I said, just let it out. Let the tears out. It's healing. And he said,
Mm.
Mum, boys aren't supposed to cry.
Oh no.
And yeah, and my husband picked up and I picked up and went, no, no, no. That is a misconception. We want you to be able to express your emotions. It's a
Mm.
healthy thing. And I said, my husband, he's the toughest, biggest, strongest looking guy you can imagine, but he has a good old cry every now and then too. And
Yeah.
I think it's really
Yeah.
healthy to be able to cry and allow those emotions to be expressed in front of our children. Uh,
So important.
yeah, somewhere along the line, society told us that it's something to worry about when we feel these big emotions, and something's wrong with us. Uh-oh,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. And, that is something, as you say, that is definitely getting better than the back in the day approach to emotions. But yeah, there's still a long way to go because even, grown-ups can be told, they're overreacting or they're being too sensitive or but whatever state their body's in and whatever's needing to be released, it needs to be released. It's just about doing that in a healthier, more balanced way, probably, than the massive in public meltdowns, which no one wants, but you know, meltdown at home or meltdown in some sort of comfort zone, because they are so important as far as tantrums or meltdowns go with kids or adults having what they feel like as, a meltdown. That's all just the body trying to reset because there's just too much energy trapped. There's like the vibration is too much for the physical body to contain. It has to go somewhere. So it needs to come out. And tears, they literally have a hormone. Once you start crying, you're releasing hormones that relax the nervous system. That there's a physical function to tears as well as, it's actually so good for you to have a good cry, and our kids need to be taught that as early as possible. So yeah, I'd love everyone to be an advocate for better out than in emotion wise, and wherever you need to do that, do it.
Absolutely. I know it's such a relief when I have a client come in and they just instantly let go. Almost as they walk in the room, they're already
Yeah,
losing.
yeah.
And I
Well,
think, good, good, get it out.
I love because I used to do a bit of healing back in the my consultation days. I didn't just do naturopathy. I've done Reiki. I've done pranic healing. So I've done a lot of hands-on energy healing courses, and I don't do as much these days. But yeah, one of my energy healing mentors told me something that stuck with me forever, which was, as soon as someone's made that appointment with you, and actually even before that, they start thinking about making that appointment with you, the healing has begun. So it's not just whenever they're in the room with you, it's started to happen because they've made this choice of, I'm going to do something here, I'm going to shift, and their body and their mind already knows what's going to happen. They're starting to heal before you even get to the healing. So things
Brilliant.
happen before they walk in the room.
I love that. That just gave me shivers. And that's 100% true,
Mm.
especially with energy work or the alternative healing processes, because they know they're going to have to go in there and be part of the journey.
Yeah.
They know that the
And
spray is going to do an incredible thing. The essence is going to do an incredible thing. But in the end of the day, it's them allowing that release to occur. And this is an incredible
exactly.
tool that they
Yes,
can use.
exactly. And
I know
that's what
my
I love. I love to think of people, because I'm not seeing them face to face anymore, but I love to think of my customers as, clicking that button, adding to cart, and it's the healing has started because they've bought something that says self-love. So they're like, they've added self-love to the cart. Okay. So they have like some shift is already happening. Or a thought for them with their child, adding fussy eaters to their order. Yeah, they've started to think about what kind of healing will be coming in. So it is, I like to still get excited and stay connected to that healing process in my head.
Absolutely. And you're not wrong. And touching on children again as well, I'm finding that children really resonate with I sell most of your sprays, actually. I'm just getting into the essence, but I
Yeah,
love the one.
yeah.
But the sprays, the children
all the neighborhood children, we have that kind of neighborhood environment where it's a bit like the 80s. Everyone comes to our house
Oh,
and then the neighbor's house and they just play, they circulate, and they know me as the
the witchy woo woman.
pretty much. So they love going into my energy healing room and they see all your sprays there,
Hmm.
and all they know they're allowed to touch the testers, but not the others. And now it's gotten to the point where some of the neighbors' kids come over and go, "Is it okay if I spray some tantrum tamer on, or I need some self love?" And they know exactly what they need, and
Yeah.
they'll go in and they'll just spray it, and off they go again. Isn't that
Oh,
beautiful?
it's so lovely. We don't have, I'm very jealous of your 80s neighborhood setup there. I was getting envy listening to that. I definitely don't have that where I am, but when we have kids, my kids' friends over, they come into my office. I have a home office where all the mists are out because, we use them a lot. And yeah, I just love how some of them are attracted to certain ones. And I think, yes, you needed that, just knowing the child and seeing what they gravitate towards. It's pretty fun to watch and, yeah, and see the difference in them when they're using them.
I love the focus one too, because we've got a little house of ADHD.
Yeah, I'm sorry to minimize it, but is there a house that doesn't have it?
I'm starting to think that everyone has it. It's actually the minority that don't have it. But so focus and slow down. That's constantly getting run out at our place
Yeah.
with my clients as well. So on this, while we're getting right into the sprays, what's your favorite product? What's the one that makes your heart glow the most?
Yes, that's it changes quite a bit. My heart is always with Mama Magic, being with the very first one and the one I've used so much in the last 12, 13 years. But I go through stages, I guess, with whatever's happening in my life. Like a few years ago, you wouldn't see me without my Protect blend because I was going through, understanding how much of an empath I was and how much I needed to protect my emotional boundaries. And so Protect was with me at all times. And then things like, well, the Help blend are probably because, yeah, it's been a rocky, road as I don't want to put us all in this box, but motherhood is rocky and working while mothering is rocky and not having had the Help blend, I don't know for me and my kids what we would have done in so many circumstances when Help blend has just been there and just calmed us all down at the time. So that one's right up there. That's, I call that my blend for all emergencies because it just settles the energy back into the body when you feel like you're going to spin off the earth because you're not sure what's going to happen next, or you're stuck in shock or grief or that kind of yeah, that energetic state. So yeah, I'm sorry, I could keep going on and on. There's 28 blends, so I better just stop at those those ones because I'll just keep going. Oh, and then Evolve was a big one for me when I turned, oh, how old was I? 40. I brought Evolve out. It was magical, that one, for
I'm
me. So
almost 40, so I'm probably going to need evolves.
oh, evolve for any age, for any time. You're sort of leveling to somewhere different, or you're transitioning out of one thing to another. Like I had my kids on Evolve when they changed schools. Went into high school when we moved house. Whenever we felt like we had to grow into something new, Evolve was needed, and so blessed to have that blend in the last few years because a lot of change has happened for my family. But I mean, as I said, I could give you more and more, but I'll stop.
I love that. I want to share my favorite now. It's
Yes,
probably
please.
female. I know that we can't claim any health benefits officially due to.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah.
share my experience with female. It's uh, I was going through quite a lot of hormonal issues and
Yeah.
a lot of migraines before I really got into my own self healing. But that was
Yeah.
a really big game changer for me in my
Mm.
experience.
Mm.
I felt like it just settled. me hormonally, but that's
Yeah.
my experience. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. This is probably a good time for me to say that yes, because they're an energetic and emotional remedy, they are only working on the emotional body and not the physical body. So your all the hormonal changes you experienced, your body was doing, but the female blend probably, well, I'd say most definitely gave the space for your body to do that, to go back into more of balance.
Absolutely, because our mind and our higher self is extremely perfect healers. And
Yeah.
I've seen with some of the other modalities that I work with, we were even speaking with Judy Koku with the last podcast about instantaneous healing that's sometimes happening. And
Yeah.
the ability to heal anything in our body, that's how powerful we actually are. And when we
Mm,
use resources and tools such as your
mm,
products,
mm.
they can really help us
Yeah,
start to gain that power back to be able to.
exactly.
I like to call it permission slips. That's what Bashar, an incredible channel, talks about. And
Yeah.
if you have a product that you believe in, you really truly believe in, and it's powerful, it will
Mm.
help you to help manifest.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, that's why, we have so many reviews. Literally, I'm gonna do a blanket statement here. Every third review that comes in, and we have thousands upon thousands of reviews, every third one will say something in somewhere in there. It's like a bottle of magic. And that's what it is. Like, and that's what the alchemy of energy is. It's quite magical, and we should never forget how magical we are. Because yes, I'll reiterate, it's not the bottle that's magical. It's magical what your body can do when given space to do it.
Absolutely perfectly said. Absolutely perfectly said. No, that's wonderful. Well, I'm going to continue to be using your products without doubt, and I'm even going to have them on my website for anyone that wants to
Oh,
purchase,
cool.
but also in shop as well because they're beautiful. And this podcast isn't so much about selling a product, but it's more about getting people to understand what's out there and
Yeah,
to learn what energy medicine is. And that's another question I just want to dig a little bit deeper into.
yeah.
And I know that you answered most of this, but a lot of my clients ask me, okay, so this is energy medicine, Sarah. Can
Mm.
you explain the process? I understand that you're going through, you worked really hard for these wildflower smiths
Mm.
and sprays. Can you explain the process that you went through in creating these? Is that something we can ask?
Yeah, sure. It's so I studied flower essences as part of my naturopathy degree, and I resonated with them straight away. I remember my first assignment having to make my own flower essence. Was sort of life-changing what happened, and that's too long a story that I won't put in here, but I definitely got myself an A+ on that assignment. And I just knew that your flower essences would be a big part of what I did going forward, because it was such a non-invasive, easy thing to sort of incorporate, and because it's not such a big deal on the physical body. If you're a sensitive person like I am, you can really feel those energetic shifts quite easily and quite quickly. And I mean, they work on everyone, but I think the more sensitive people sort of feel it a lot easier. But anyway, I just had that affinity from the get-go, and moving it into the sphere of what I do now, because it's such en masse, I buy in my flower essences from a company in Perth, and then I formulate them. So I basically play around. How do I get to each formula? Well, it's a lot of learning from my texts back from college days. I've got all my flower essence texts. So I look at what energetic state is helped by what flower and what could that synergistically work with, because most of my blends have 5 or 7 blends in them, depending on which one you're getting. So it's sort of working out what will work together for this emotional state for everyone. Because, back in clinic days, it was just working with that person in front of me. And now I have to think about it. Okay, so what are the best ones to pick to put together that will help most people if they're feeling like this? And so when I get to that formula finally, which is a lot of research, penduluming, intuitive kind of work, then there's a lot of testing. So many people around me have been guinea pigs for years because I need feedback on how people are feeling, what's been happening while on a certain blend. And so that takes quite a long time. The mists were a whole other ball of wax because I had to work out the synergistic effect of essential oils with the flower essences and in carriers that were all 100% natural, because of course I didn't want to interrupt any energy state by putting anything synthetic or chemical in there. So yeah, not being a chemist, that took longer than I could ever imagine. But yes, we did get there. It did take about 18 months to sort of till I was happy. And then it's, then you kind of, just start, using those formulas over and over. And then it's anecdotal feedback that, you're on the right track, because it is all about hearing back what's working for people, and or if it didn't work at all, that sort of stuff, because that's the thing with energy medicine, and I'm sure a lot of us out there have heard this before. We're just big onions with lots of layers, and that includes our emotional and energy layers. So often what we're trying to, I don't know, treat. Let's use Fussy Eaters blend, for example. So someone might want to purchase that to help their kid not be so fussy, eat more foods, etc. And generally that's not the first thing parents will see while giving their child this blend. They'll start seeing other small changes first. They might notice their kids' behaviors changing in this regard. Oh, they're wanting to, close their door instead of having it open at night. Or now they're fighting me to do their shoelaces up because they won't want the help anymore. So there's things, and then, oh my goodness, now they're like eating this and this and this. So, but that might be, weeks later, because what we're doing is we're working with the layers of emotion in someone, and we're opening up slowly, sometimes very quickly. But things like Fussy Eaters, because it's such a what's the word, such an acute kind of description for something, so people are looking for exactly that problem to be fixed. That can take more time than, say, the help blend, which is this instant kind of settling of the energy, because that's a much easier thing to feel and see. So yes, I think working with energy medicine, it's quite the journey, because it will be different in everyone, but you just want everyone to be feeling better and feeling like they're on a better track in the direction they're hoping to go. And yeah, generally we have like just people going, wow, can't believe like what has happened here. And that's the best part of, and I'm sure you know yourself, Sarah, the best part of being in this game is the stories and the incredible changes people can go through without much effort at all.
Oh, spot on. The amount of times I've said to people, when you're working with energy medicine, it's not without challenge, but it is fast, quick, and effective.
Yeah.
Like many things in Western medicine, unlike
Yeah.
all those things that we have to go through with a lot of psychology, etc. It is not without challenge, but it does. You get through things so much quicker.
Yes, yeah. And and that's why I think back in clinic days, why I would make sure everyone had their little bottle of flower power, because the compliance of getting them on the road to doing all the other stuff, whether you've set them sort of dietary or lifestyle type homework, I think if I sent people away going, here, do all this without addressing the emotions behind that, their road to health is going to be a lot longer and a lot harder because they're not helping themselves.
Well, I know what everyone's going to be getting in their stockings this year from me. I got it last year too. It's a no-brainer. But one last question for you. Where do you believe the Naughty Naturopath Mum business is going now? Like, what are we to expect in the future?
I'll give you my really honest answer, which is quite new. We got to a point where we were growing so fast and so big that it was a bit hard to contain, and it wasn't something that was fitting in with my lifestyle very well. It impacted my health, still is. I'm still, on my health journey, as we all are. I'm 46 soon, and getting to an age of knowing myself so much better than I ever have before, I actually scaled back a bit to get to a comfortable level so I could still be the owner and the creator and the director. Because if I'd kept it going at what it was, I would have had to have stepped out. And that felt not right. And it will be one day, but it didn't feel right now. I wanted to keep this company and still have a life and my sanity. And so the future of it is actually just this very relaxed, whatever's happening now is happening, nothing big, nothing major. I'm not aspiring to grow it. I'm just wanting to keep sending out these good vibes in the mail to as many people as I can at the level we're currently doing.
I love that. And that's very, very admirable, because you
it's
have the opportunity to start really making lots of grand money, but you're choosing that quality over the quantity, and you
yeah,
really want to keep it a
yeah.
personalized, beautiful experience for people. I love that.
It's very against the normal entrepreneurial direction, though. I think I'm kind of going against the hustle. I'm trying to step back from the hustle as long as I can keep doing what I'm doing without taxing myself too much and being involved, then I'm happy. And that I'm very fortunate to get to that position, and I'm very fortunate to know that pushing it too far, I don't think it's going to serve me or anyone else at this point.
I really respect it too. I really, really do.
Thank
So
you.
well done.
It's hard to say, because most people want to hear, well, we've got this happening, we're going to go here, we're going to storm this continent next. And yeah, I'm just really happy coasting exactly as things are.
I think people will respect that quite a lot, especially the way that things go these days, and how things just start to expand into
Ah,
quantity.
and
So
and there's just so much you can do, like people say, oh, are you bringing out a podcast, when are you writing your book, when you're doing this and that? And I'm like, no, I'm going to keep reaching people like I do through my social media platforms and my blogs, and through my products. But yeah, the more I try and step up, the more I lose something in me right now. Maybe when my kids are out of home, or things are different, then I'll have the space. But yeah, now it's just as is.
I love it. And I've loved our conversation. I could talk to you for hours easily.
Been great. Yeah, it's always fun chatting about this for me. So thank you, Sarah, for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And just to help my listeners find more information about the Naughty Naturopath Mum, where can
Yeah.
they go and what can they do?
Oh, look, that's all you'll need to type into any sort of Google search, Naughty Naturopath Mum. You'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, my website. So the product name is Wildflower Essences, but it's all under the Naughty Naturopath Mum banner, because my website's not just the products. There's lots and lots, 10 years worth of blogs on self-care, motherhood, recipes, a lot of gluten-free recipes because we're gluten-free, and just, yeah, a lot of, I guess, health tips on there as well. So my socials are a mix of me being funny memes and being an idiot on Insta Reels, trying to make people laugh, because laughter is another amazing energetic medicine. And yeah, and my products will pop up, of course. But yeah, Naughty Naturopath Mum on most platforms. Yeah.
I love it. And I hope that my listeners are inspired to try these new products and tools, because I think that they're really important. I can't live without them. So
Oh, I know. I can't either. Thank goodness I've got a ready supply.
same. So much, Alisha. I really, really appreciate your time and your passion, and how humble and wonderful you are. So thank you so much.
What a great interview. I am having so much fun recording these podcasts and sharing this knowledge with you. If you think that you have some really cool stories or something that you would like to share on this podcast, I would love to hear from you. So please feel free to reach out. And if you would like some more information in regards to my company, Wallen Healing Tree, and the services that I provide, I would absolutely love to hear from you too. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, or www.wallenhealingtree.com. Thanks very much again for listening, and keep choosing kindness. Bye.